Okay, so let's build a WooCommerce site. That's what we're talking about tonight, in an Elementor sense, of course. Here's a rough agenda. 6 p.m. we start, do some welcome introductions, usually cover some new things that are in Elementor, and then bash on with the topic. Some of the organisers, we'll just do quick introductions for each of us here. My name is Will Brown, if I haven't met you before. I help to co-organise this Sydney Elementor meetup. I also co-organise the Sydney WordPress meetup, trying to reboot the Sydney Woocommerce meetup group, and I'm vice president of Linux Australia, which is kind of the open source body in Australia. I've been working with WordPress since about 2006, 2007, something like that. I'm generally a developer. I did do design in the beginning, but I'm not very good at it. So I let other people do the design stuff, and I just type and code stuff. I can generally work with WordPress and other systems. So I pull stuff from other systems and I push stuff from WordPress into other systems. That's the kind of stuff that I do on a day-to-day basis. I'll hand you over to John. John, would you like to give you a little introduction?
Thanks, Will. I am John, and I am the designer. I'm a professional graphic designer, and I run my own design agency from my office here at home. And I've been building websites now for about 10 years, and I've been using Elementor for probably about 3 years now. I think that amount changes every time I say this, but I just kind of fell in love with it straight away, and I'm still in love with it and what it can do. And that's why I'm very excited about today's talk, because using WooCommerce on Elementor is a new thing. But yeah, I just love it. And I just kind of like, it's now just my program. It's become my Photoshop or my Illustrator or my InDesign now. It's just the one that I go to. And I just built a website for the Hawaii Tourism Board called Explore Hawaii. And I built it in 2 days, which is probably the fastest I've ever built a website. And they absolutely love it. So that's why I love Elementor. Thanks. Over to Julia.
Good on you, John. Hi, guys. I'm Julia. So I'm Italian. I'm in Sydney. Oh, I've been here for ages now. Just telling you this because I just recently got back from overseas from my first trip overseas back to Italy since before COVID. So I guess this is something to celebrate for everyone who can sort of start traveling back again. This is something to keep in mind and hope you guys can do that as well. So I work as a web designer for a software company here in Sydney, but I also own my digital agency with a small team, and we offer services in graphic design, web development, and digital marketing. Not 2 days to build a website, John, but we do have some quick clients who provide all the contents we need to speed it up, and Elementor really helps. So I'm a big fan of Elementor and very happy to be here and learn with you guys as well.
Cool. Thanks, Julia. We have Morris as well, and Morris is unfortunately not able to come to this particular meetup, but come to the next one and he'll introduce himself to you. Okay, code of conduct. You can find the code of conduct. It's Elementor's one on their website, elementor.com/community/code-off-conduct. Please go and read that in your own time. Too long, didn't read, just basically be respectful of everyone. There we go. Okay, so we're going to give you guys an opportunity, 5 minutes to quickly introduce yourself, to tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do with Elementor, just briefly. If you want to, you don't have to. This is purely optional. For that, you can either put up your real hand, or you can use the little icon down the bottom to raise your hand if you want to speak. So I'll do that. I'll open up to everyone just now. Would anyone like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, my name's Charlie. I've been working with Elementor for about 3 years. I run a scuba diving company in Thailand, even though I live in the UK. And yeah, just always trying to learn new tricks, new stuff you can do with it. I've never gone down the route of putting WooCommerce in. Mainly, I've been waiting for Elementor to get all the parts in there, but now I think maybe the time to start looking at that.
Excellent.
And
Welcome,
thanks for
Charlie.
letting me come in.
Excellent. Anyone else? Nope, that's okay. Let's just jump back to the slides. I'll share that. So I've got a little bit of news. Let's do a little bit of roundup of news. Let's see. Elementor updates. So we have Elementor Pro version 3.7.0, but they've got a hotfix now to 0.1. Came out just a couple of weeks ago. This one's quite cool, actually. They've got 4 new features. One of them I really, really like. So the first one's called Notes. So if you are working collaboratively, you can basically open up Elementor, hover over any of the elements and click on the Notes section, and you can actually leave a little note on every single Elementor element that's on your page design. So you could use that yourself, to kind of remind yourself why you've put some stuff there. Or if you're a designer, you can leave some extra comments for the client, or add some extra comments for other designers and stuff as well. So it's really neat functionality. It works very well in both desktop and mobile. And I just love this. I think the collaborative side is really, really good for that. So definitely have a look at that if you're on Elementor Pro. Another 2 things from Pro is they've got a new Stripe button. So a few versions back, they introduced the PayPal button, and now it's Stripe's turn. So exactly the same. You just connect up your Stripe account in the back end, and then you can use the Stripe button basically wherever, on landing pages, just to sell whatever it is you want to sell. So that's quite new. It means you don't have to build a full e-commerce shop nowadays if you only got a handful of things that you want to sell. So that's really, really good. I love that addition. And then 2 kind of things that are kind of related to each other. A WooCommerce add to cart dynamic tag. And what that means is basically when you had the add to cart button before, you couldn't change the word on the add to cart. And basically this allows you to do that. So you can put anything on the add to cart. So you could say add particular product, on the button itself. And similarly in the product as well. So like in the single product or wherever you got like product archives, you weren't able to bring in the big description. So for the description of the product, you could have the short description, but there was no way to bring in the full descriptions, but now you can. So those are the kind of the 4 new things in that one, and like heaps of tweaks and fixes as well. But one of the big things that is coming soon to Elementor Pro, and they've kind of been saying it's been coming soon for a good few months now. It's still in alpha at the moment, but if you go into your Elementor Pro settings, and then there's a tab called experimental, you can switch on something called Flexbox Containers. So these are in the experiments box is kind of the bits that the Elementor teams are playing around with. It isn't really ready to go into full version yet, or maybe just like conceptual stuff that they're playing around with. But if you haven't heard of Flexbox, it's basically the way of controlling the containers and the items within containers using CSS. Flexbox gives you kind of more of a desktop publishing environment rather than just like your HTML containers where you can kind of just snap them to left, snap them to right, or put them in the middle. Flexbox allows you to move them around, control the flow of items within all that stuff a lot easier. Now, obviously, it's a bit of a step up in CSS learning curve, and it has got quite a few people bamboozled. If you look in some of the groups, there's quite a lot of questions coming around to say, why do these things wrap around this way, or why is it all vertical? So Flex itself is a bit of a high learning curve, but once you master it, you can really move all those stuff around on the screen and have some great layouts. So definitely something to switch on and play around with, and maybe do a little bit of research into Flexbox itself and the CSS around it. But that should be coming soon to Elementor, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, that's all the stuff that I have to share with you today as updates. Let's go into the talk. Now, let's see, I've not got any slides for this, so I am going to just click on this. Hopefully you guys can see that. I might just switch camera as well. Let me see. Which one is it? This one?
You're still turning with the earth.
I am still turning with the earth, yes. It didn't switch. Okay, that's fine. You'll just have to look at my ear. Wonder why that didn't work. All right, there we go.
I think it's worked now. I can see your face. Oh, it
It
was your
did
face.
do.
Oh,
It
yeah.
did. There we go.
That's
better.
Okay.
Oh, I just pulled my mic off. Just bear with me while I make some strange noises. I'll just put myself on mute for, just give me 1 second. Okay, this is what happens when you try to dare do live demos. Okay, your mic falls off. Right, so what we've got here is I've got a WordPress 6 installation. I just spun this up. I use a hosting site called Wordify, and they allow for free development sites. So I've spun one up there. It's a version 6, as I said. I've got a few things installed in here. So I've got Woocommerce, obviously, installed. Actually, I've got a lot of things I've not activated. I've got Elementor, Elementor Pro, and I've got Woocommerce installed. And it's very, very default. So you'll see in the pages, it's just created the default pages. So you've got your cart, checkout, my account. You've got your shop page as well. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to flip into Elementor. And similar to John from last week, I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I'm going to boot up a template kit. Just so that it's a little bit quicker. I've got everything at hand, so you don't have to watch me building all the pages, which is going to be boring. Right, so let's see if I can find e-commerce. There it is. And I saw one the other day, and it was a coffee shop. This one here. So we'll just wait for that to come in. And it might take a minute or so to build, and that's okay. Let me see, apply kit. And apply all. Okay, so it's just running in the background. What that's doing, it's downloading the site kit, and it's making all the pages. It's making some products as well. So this is kind of really a kind of quick way to boot up a website. And there's lots of different skins. I call them skins. They call them templates for that. But it just gives you a nice kind of base to start with. Because if I started playing with it, you're just like a normal WordPress, it's going to look a bit funky because I'm not a designer for that. So that should be up and running in a few minutes. Catherine says that she's been working a lot with containers in the chat. Yeah, so containers is the Flexbox thing. They're very interesting, very, very good. I've been using Flex for quite a while, not within Elementor, but just in other designs. It's a great way to kind of line up items within containers. So it is coming soon. Just a note on that. In that if you do turn that on, then it's not going to get rid of your existing stuff. So it kind of works in cohort. There will be a point where they swap over to Flexbox, but all your existing stuff is still going to be absolutely fine. So don't worry about that. There we go. Your kit is now live on your site. So I'll close that and we'll come back out of there. Okay, so now, if we have a look at the pages, we can see here it's not actually replaced the default WooCommerce stuff. It's created some new ones there. So we might have to shift some things around, but that's okay. Right, no thanks, go away. Right, we'll have a look at the front end of the website and the store. So here we are, freshly roasted coffee. There we go. And then our shop page is down here. We've got brewing coffee kit, we've got coffee grinder, coffee mug, all that sort of stuff up there, right? So this is the default, I think this is the default WooCommerce pages, but we can go in and check for those. So let's go back to the pages. Let's have a quick look. In fact, I'll just go back to the shop quickly. I'm going to add something to a cart just so we can have a look at the cart. So I'm going to add a coffee kit to the cart, and we can see here, got one item in there. So let's have a look at our cart page. Let's have a look at the normal one. And just to check, yeah, it's not in Elementor. So this one is just in Gutenberg, in the cart. So you got your WooCommerce cart. And if we have a look at the front page, this is this one here, view cart. So that's this page. So this is the default WooCommerce one. So you've got your product, then you've got your price, you've got your cart totals down here for those. But let's have a quick look at the Elementor one. Let's see. So we'll edit this one with Elementor. Oh, that was the Elementor one. It didn't do that last time. So that was the Elementor one. Let's have a look at the normal one then. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh, they're both the same. Right. Okay, not to worry. So what it's done here, well, it just spins round and round. Come on. I knew I should have done slides. I knew I should have done slides. Let me just refresh that again and hopefully it will pick it up. There we go. Okay. So what this has done is it's not using any of the Elementor widgets. What it's done is it's using what's called a Woocommerce Pages. Now, if you have a look at some of the Elementor Elements, so in there, down here, so this box at the top chooses the elements. We've got our basic ones, we've got our pro ones, because I'm running pro, we've got our general ones, site single WooCommerce. So this is the WooCommerce that we're looking for. So I'm going to run through some of these tonight. So this one here, what this particular template has done, it's using something called Woocommerce Pages, this one here. And what that allows you to do, and I'll click on the element there, is it allows you to select the WooCommerce pages that WooCommerce installs by default. So currently we're looking at the WooCommerce cart page, which is this page with the shortcode in it, okay? But what we want to do is change it over to the actual WooCommerce elements. So this is cart. Let me just go back to the WooCommerce stuff down here. Now we do have, let's see, we have a cart element. So let's drag that underneath and just see what the differences are. So this is the actual element. This is the shortcode. This is the page that WooCommerce comes with. And this is the Elementor's cart element, if you like, widget element. So there's quite a lot of things you can do here, which you can't do with the normal WooCommerce. That's just defined by the template, but this one's defined by the element. So first of all, you can actually get rid of the two columns and just shove it into one column. And I like this. I prefer the nice vertical layout rather than kind of have this side by side. It gets a little bit confusing for me. For those, so we can change the layout, which again we can't do with the normal WooCommerce stuff. And then we can actually get into all the different stuff in here. So you've got order summary. So we can change this one. We can change the title of the button as well. And again, you can't do any of this within the normal WooCommerce. So this is all the Elementor plugin here. And we can play around with the alignment of that, to make it whatever it is. Ignore all the colors and stuff. I'm not going to be bothered about colors and stuff tonight. Coupon code. So again, you can have the coupon stuff there. You can actually get rid of it if you don't want that on there. So if you don't have any coupons within your store, then just get rid of it. Again, something you can't easily do within the normal WooCommerce for those. And then you got control over, the text and the alignment with there as well. And again, with the totals, you can change the wordings, you can change the alignments of everything as well. So you can really set up this page a better way than you can just with the standard WooCommerce stuff. Now, there's additional options usually on some of these Elementor WooCommerce widgets. So you can update the cart automatically, and it's going to bring in a little bit of JavaScript. So when you update like quantities or remove stuff, it's going to update your cart for you for those. And you can also customize the empty cart. So if there's nothing in your cart and somebody clicks on the cart button, then you can select a page that they can then go to. It says, sorry, your cart's empty, but here's your top 10 products, please buy one. that sort of stuff. So really good control over your cart and being able to rename stuff and position stuff for those. And again, that's just the content. We've got the style. So you can basically style all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go into the styles. I'm basically just trying to show you that the functionality of what's available for WooCommerce within Elementor. But you've got all the typography over all the titles and the descriptions as well. You've got your order summary, which you can play around with that, the positioning and the text and the fonts and all that sort of stuff for there as well. And as well as your totals, your checkout button as well. You can change any color, the text color, the background color, if you want it, I don't know, bright red or something like that, just to fit in with your style. So really, really simple to change. Again, no CSS because it's Elementor widget. It allows you to do all that sort of stuff from there. And then there's customize. So there's certain parts of this this cart widget that don't show by default, but you can add them in like this. So there's an order summary, and then you can click on here, and then there's the coupon, and then there's the totals bit on there. And then that just adds them to the style. So that allows you to start to customize those things. Again, those things, I don't know why they're not switched on by default. Maybe they're just trying to cut down the screen real estate a little bit. But, if you want to start, customizing, the coupons, stuff like that, if you want to highlight the coupon to be a little bit different color to stand out, you can do stuff like that. So you can customize the style of all the different components within this cart element, which is great. And of course, you've got advanced stuff as well. There's nothing particular for the WooCommerce Elements in the Advanced tab. It's just the fact that they're there. So if you want to animate stuff, if you want to make stuff zoom in, zoom out, totally up to you, go crazy. But generally, we're just sticking with the content and the styles there. So we can save that. Let's just get rid of the WooCommerce one here. This one. Delete that, and then we'll just move this one up into here. In fact, that's just fine. Let's just update. So we'll update that one. Yes, I want to make that my cart page because it looks lovely. I particularly like the green and the red together. Let's just do an F5 on that. That's because it's that page. Let's go back home. We'll look at our cart page now. No. Okay, I don't know why that is doing that, but let's have a look here. Preview change. There we go. So that's what it should look like. I don't know why it's not picking that up. It seems to be still configured with the old cart, but there we go. There's a nice new cart that we can set as the cart for us. All done in Elementor. So you've got real good control over that. And again, I think we added the JavaScript stuff, so it updates automatically without doing a page refresh. So that was one of the options there to update the cart. So it just does it all in the background, which is a lot nicer than the WooCommerce cart page. Okay, let's have a look at another one. So that was the cart. Let's have a look at the checkout page. Now let's see, edit this in Elementor. So again, you'll see for this this particular one, so it's brought in the element again. So it's got why has it got the cart page? It should be checkout page. There we go. So again, it kind of defaults to the WooCommerce side. So that's just the short code that brings in the template, but we can do a lot better than that. So let's get the WooCommerce Elementor widget in. So scroll down, WooCommerce. And what are we on? We're on the checkout. Okay, so let's move checkout here. There we go. Okay. There we go. So we can see there's obviously difference. That's just in the styling between the WooCommerce one here and then the Elementor one here. But again, we've got access to the content and the styles. And immediately, again, with the cart one, very similar to the cart one, we've got this option to do one column, which I like. It just makes it a lot neater when you're filling out stuff. I know that's compact with the two. Some people like that, but I do prefer just the one column here. So I usually select that one on there. Then you've got access to your different options. So like for the billing details, you can change the title name. You've got all your alignment stuff as well. But these are all the forms for this. And you can go into advanced. You can actually For example, because it's an Elementor form, you can rename the labels for those. You can actually delete the item as well, but we'll keep that there. But the advanced one, you can start to do some funky stuff. So if you allow people to log in, for example, if they're returning users, then you can use this thing here. It's called dynamic tags. And when you click on a dynamic tag, it brings up different areas within your WordPress system. So you can actually populate these fields using data within WordPress. So if you are a logged in users, we scroll down here, we've got something called user info that we click on, and then we click on that again, and we can choose the field. So example, first name. And then we can do that with the last name as well. So just do their dynamic content, user info, click on that, and we'll do last name for that. So if your user is logged in, then we're starting to complete some of the billing details, which is going to help people walk through the checkout. If everything's completed for them, the less time they have to spend, the more, the higher the conversion rate is going to be. So you've got your normal stuff in here, all the WooCommerce stuff that it needs: company name, region, street address, email address as well, all that sort of good stuff. And then you've got additional information down here. Further. Now, additional information. So that's your order notes. If you want to put any notes on there, like, deliver to the back door, because if you deliver to the front door, my cat will go bananas, all that sort of stuff for those, but you can get rid of that. So if you just want to keep your billing just super simple, your checkout super simple, you can just turn that off and don't worry about that at all. Same with your order. So your order here is the summary of the stuff that you've had in your cart for there. Not a lot of stuff you can do with that, because obviously you want to see what you've ordered, but you can play around with the alignment of titles and stuff like that. Again, we've got coupon. Now, it depends. You can have your coupon on your cart page or your checkout page. It doesn't really matter, but we've got one here as well. Again, if you don't use coupon, just get rid of it, and it's one less thing for people to have to worry about. And then you've got payment here as well for those. Now, you can add little messages, so terms and conditions. You can put some and privacy policy as well. You can put some text in there. I have agreed to the website, and a link to your terms and conditions. You can put HTML in here as well. Equal. So you can put links in there. I don't know where that's came. I don't know where that's went. But you've got, and then you've got your purchase button as well. So you can choose your alignment of those. You can squish it in the middle, or wherever it is that you want to, however it is you want to design all those. So that's you being able to control the checkout fields, which is really, really cool. And not something you can really do within the short code of WooCommerce itself. So you're getting more control when you start to use these Elementor elements for those. And again, with the style, it's the same as the cart. You can check out all the different styles for the details, for the form, for the typography, and then you can use the forms in here. Again, you can choose the fonts, the colors, all that sort of good stuff for those. So every single item you can change that within the checkout field, and customize as well. So it's very similar. Before, I don't know why they don't put all the information down there, but if you find something missing, then you come down to the customize and click on this, and then you can find you've got your additional information, then maybe your coupon, and then maybe your payment as well. So you can really get into the styles for everything for that. So update that one. Yep. Do that, and then we'll just get rid of the standard one, delete that, save that again for that, and then just view it. There we go. They've got a nice new checkout for those single line, which is cool. Okay. So those are the two big ones, is your cart and your checkout. Now you couldn't do one of them before. Which one was it? I think it was your cart that you couldn't customize before. So that's a relatively new thing that they've put in recently to Elementor. But you do have other things in here as well. So we have you've got breadcrumbs as well. So we can chuck some breadcrumbs. Ideally, you probably want to put it up in your header, but let's just have a look. So it's very, very easy to use. Again, this probably would be on in your header area. But if you want breadcrumbs throughout your website, it comes with WooCommerce. But now there's an Elementor element to actually put that in your pages. For those, there's this little icon here. I love this little icon here. This is called the menu cart, and I'll just add it in here just so you can see. This is so. What this does is you can add this to one of your menu items. And you can customize it with this. You can get rid of the subtotal and just have that. So that's basically what's in the header here. And you can change the little items indicators. You can have it plain. You can have none in there, just a cart button or the bubble that tells you how much stuff is in there. You can change the cart to be whatever it is, like a basket and stuff. And then within the cart itself, you've got options to what type. So is it going to be a side cart? Is it going to be a mini cart? So the side cart is, let me just, so this is a side cart here. So it comes in like this, and then you can go straight to your checkout. And you can go straight to your view carts. This is really handy. I love this little thing that kind of pops in. I think giving that extra information to people is going to help them convert them more, because they can see exactly what's in their cart. I know a lot of old WooCommerce stores, they just have the cart button, so you don't really know what's in there. So having that handy little thing here is fantastic. I just love that there. Again, you can just side cart for this, or you can use a little mini cart, which comes up actually in place as well. I tend to prefer the side one, because it kind of keeps it out of the way for those. And then on click or on hover as well. So let's just get rid of that. So this is now on hover. So whenever it comes over, it activates that. I prefer on click. It's kind of old fashioned. And then, you've got all the different things. You can choose the position of your icon, to close it. It can be right or left. So you can depend on which one it slides in for those. And again, with the remove item, you can play around with your price and quality and the buttons as well. You can either show those on change the position within those. So at the moment, that's this one here. So I've got those buttons. So you can just get rid of those if you don't want those. So it can just be a little cart reminder if you don't want to jump to people. And then additional options as well. So you can automatically open your cart, which I don't think is particularly handy, because I like the whole fact that you've got this little thing there for those. And again, we can run Ajax and have everything updated automatically if you go and click and remove stuff for those. And I won't bore you with this stuff, but this just, you obviously can control every single element of that, the cart itself, all the fonts, the colors for those. The products themselves have a little bit of, you can change the title, the color, you've got access to variations as well. So pretty much everything you want in there, you can change those in the buttons and all the message icons as well. So that's a handy little thing. I love that. And again, you can see that's right up in the header icon here for this particular template. Now that isn't by default. You'd have to add that into the menu if you're going to do that by yourself. It just comes with this particular a template kit. Okay, let's have another look at some other stuff for those. What have we got? Yeah, Woocommerce Notices. So we can put a notice up here. Let's just see. So when WooCommerce does stuff, so if, for example, if you haven't put required fields in, or if there's a problem with the checkout, or if there's anything that kind of WooCommerce needs to tell you as a user, as a customer, it gets put into what's called this notification area. And you can choose where that goes. You can choose the size or exactly, where that appears for that. So that's quite good too. I think the normal WooCommerce is kind of right at the top, just under the title, but you can choose that. It's probably good to have it up there, but you can put it down the bottom, if you like, if you want to keep it kind of out of the way. You can put all the notices down there, so they can still try and do stuff, and then it's not going to highlight it prominently at the top for those. It really depends on what you want to do and what sort of layout you want for your checkout and for your WooCommerce pages. But it's nice to have a little control over that. Just these little things that Elementor have been adding. And I think one of you guys, who was it saying? Was saying that you haven't put WooCommerce onto your site yet. But now I think Elementor does have enough widgets to kind of control pretty much the whole WooCommerce experience for that. Okay, what else do we have here? So we've got the products, and then we've got your purchase summary as well. So the purchase summary is what happens after you place the order. Also, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to do a complete transaction. But you do have control over what happens when somebody places when places an order. So it says you need at least one WooCommerce order. So I don't have an order in there. I've not placed one, but you have control over all the messages in all the different areas as well. So this is when you've placed the order. This is what's come back to the user. It's got your message ID. It's got your order ID, all your payment details. If you've got some download, for example, what your purchase summary, all that sort of good stuff. You've got complete control over all that stuff from there. So the order number, date, email, all that sort of good stuff. So you can control, your add to cart. You can control your cart. You can control your checkout, and now you can control your purchase summary as well. That's after you've checked stuff out. So that is really, really handy. I'm loving all that stuff there. Let's have a quick look. I'll just leave that one. Have a quick look into the shop page. So let's have a look. Got two shops. That's handy. Let's just choose one of them. This one. So that's the shop page itself. Let's edit with the Elementor. Product archive, that's what I want. Okay, so this is where the products are going to be added to. Now, we've got some elements down here. Let's see, where are the WooCommerce ones? There we are. So, we have a products element for here. My battery's running low. I think this is it here. Yep, edit products. Is that the same one? Probably not. Let's just have a quick look. Let's add a new one here. It's not. So that's just the normal WooCommerce one there that's been added. But Elementor comes with this more sophisticated layout for here. So let's have a look at this one. Okay, so you can control the number of columns for here. So if you want a kind of chunkier thumbnails for that, you can set that to 3. This place in here, so the columns and the rows that you show on your pagination within the WooCommerce itself, that's all kind of controlled in the customizer, which is a bit of a pain. You kind of got to jump around and define that just in the customizer. Whereas in Elementor, it kind of brings it all into the actual page that you're developing. So you can do that. You can choose a number of default rows. So if you've got like heaps of products, what you might want to do, if you've got heaps of small products, you might want to increase that to 5 and then maybe increase the rows to 10. And that's getting more information into for the user so they can less scrolling. You've got complete control of pagination here as well, which you don't have within the WooCommerce shortcodes for those. So again, it will come up with extra pagination. It's not going to do it within the template for those. But you can allow people to place orders as well, add directly to cart for those. You can show the results count as well, so how many things are coming back. But you can also change the query. Now, the query is kind of a way of building up or telling WooCommerce which products to show. So by default, WooCommerce is just going to show the latest products in chronological order. So that's the first product you put in to the last product you put in for those. But you can change the way that WooCommerce displays that for us by going to this query object here. And this is something you can't really do unless you kind of go back to developer using the original WooCommerce shortcodes for those. So we've got some sources, so we can just show stuff that's on sale. If I click on that, it's not going to show anything because there's nothing on sale just now. Anything that's been marked as featured. So for example, you could have like a specials page for your WooCommerce shop, and then you can mark some of your products as being featured and then just show them there, and you can maybe like your top 10 seasonal items and then just show that on a separate page and they'll come in for those. You've got a manual selection where you can actually just search for particular stuff. So there's one called logo. So there's a logo t-shirt. Oh, let's brewed coffee. There we go. Coffee mug. So it's just building up a unique one. And again, you can use this for like a landing page. So you've got particular sales landing pages. You can just bring in 2 or 3 unique products to try and sell for that. So I do love that one. Related. items. So obviously it's going to be related to a particular product or a particular query that you've put through. And that's similar to upsells and cross-sells. You're going to see, we've not got anything. So upsells and cross-sells, you mark those within the WooCommerce product item. So that would show them there. But it does give you an awful lot of control into the way that products are displayed. And I really do love that. Okay, let's just, which one do we do? Manual selection. Let's just update that. And then we'll just have a quick view. So this is the new shop page. So you could this could be a landing page, or it could be maybe you want to choose your shop page to be seasonal, that sort of stuff. So you can build up your own custom queries just really, really simply within Elementor without having to go back to WooCommerce or ask a developer, which you'd normally have to do if you want to like play around with how WooCommerce outputs stuff for there. The only other ones are, let's see, my account, I think, let me go. Yep, so my account, for those ones, is very, very, it just gives you access to your own dashboard, your orders, your downloads, your address, account details, and log out for those. Not sure if Elementor's updated anything from that recently. I don't think so. No, I can't seem to edit that particular one. Okay, that's fine. We can do that later. I'm maybe going to the sample page and have a look to see, because the idea is you build that separately. I'll see if Elementor's got any of those account details widgets. I'm fairly sure it does. Get rid of those, get rid of those. WooCommerce. Okay, we've got products, I've done breadcrumbs, I've done custom add to cart. No, we haven't done that. Woocommerce pages, categories, purchase summary, checkout cart. My account, there it is. Okay, so it's very similar to the one we just saw, but again, we're controlling everything within Elementor here. If it's just normal WooCommerce, that's just a short code, and then it just outputs, you know, what we're just looking at, you know, the menu at the side. You don't really have much control about that. You have a little bit of control over the Elementor one. So if you want to do like tab stuff at the top, you can have access to the different pages along the top, which might be a little bit nicer flow with a page if you're doing that sort of thing. You know, and again, you've got access to the table for those, so you can rename them for those. There's not a lot of additional options for those things. So you can bring in a completely customized dashboard as well. So if you don't want this kind of thing that says hello will, not will log out, you can define your own page in Elementor for how to basically talk to the person. You can bring dynamic tags as well to get their name, the email, or all that sort of stuff. So you can build your own little page here, just in Elementor, and then just search for it here, and that will show in there rather than the default WooCommerce stuff in there. Okay, I think that's all I was going to demonstrate tonight. How long have we been going for? Yeah, we've been going for probably about an hour for those. Now, there's a lot more stuff in there, in the accounts and all that sort of stuff, but those were the main parts I wanted to show you tonight. Was the checkout, the cart as well, the little cart menu, and basically the main shop query, how you can kind of customize that to show particular products, and really, really useful if you're doing like sales and marketing or landing pages for those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back over to here. I'm not going to touch my mic in case it falls off. Where are we? Go for this one. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to open up to any of you guys. If you guys have any questions about Elementor, WooCommerce, or just generally WooCommerce, I'm happy to try and answer. See if there's any questions in the chat as well.
Not yet, not for now.
Not for now, that's okay.
Will, I do have about 10 questions, but I want to give everyone else a chance
well,
to ask the questions.
Why don't you kick off, John, with one question?
Okay, so it's kind of like a sort of filter Is that kind of a possibility? So if I'm putting together a shop page, and this shop page has 200 things on it, am I able to set up some sort of filter to choose like the sort of the price range or the size of something? Is that possible?
Yeah, so using that query that we were looking at, let's just I'll share my screen back and see if I can demonstrate that.
Sort of in terms of like if a user comes to my website, that they can choose what they want to kind of break down the search. Sorry, I didn't explain them very well.
Right.
So like, for instance, if I go to Athlete's Foot to buy some new shoes, I need to find them in my size. And also I don't want to spend 10 grand on them. So I'll kind of change the price budget. Is that something we can set up inside WooCommerce?
It is. It's not an Elementor extension for that, but it is. There's probably about 4 or 5 filter plugins that you can get for WooCommerce. Probably the best one is in the CrocoBlock suite of stuff. They've got a really good filter for there. There's another one called, I think it's called Wiz with 1 Z, I think. Is another one. And what these allow you to do is that they've got various filters. Some are Ajax, so they do it, while you're clicking on stuff. And then you can filter on categories, you can filter on price ranges, various ones. You've got like sliders that go across, or you can just be very, very basic and just search for tags or stuff like that. So yeah, CrocoBlock is probably one of the better suites or filters out there. And they've got that built into, I think it's called Jet Engine. Which allows you to build up queries and searches. Woof is another one. I'm not making these names up. So Woof, WOOF, Woof filter. I use that one of my client sites.
I'm just looking up CrocoBlock now. No, that sounds very useful. I mean, I guess it just sort of like, if you kind of got a shop like that where it's just like coffee and you've got 10 different types, you probably don't need that, do you? But if you are selling, I mean, this is Athlete's Foot is a good example of that, because they sell every sort of running shoe in the world, and you do need to break it down to brand or size or
absolutely. So having a look at this one here, this is one of the websites that I built for a client recently. It's so they do organic. They're up in Queensland, Carla Pure Organic. So that's organic grains that they sell. And what they did here, so this is not part of WooCommerce. This is something I kind of wrote in the back end. But they have these things called collections. So they put together different types of flowers. So you've got premium flowers, you've got artisan flowers, oats and breakfast. So this is not something WooCommerce does natively, but this is running off the Woof. I can't remember the name. This is going off the Woof filter. But here you can see it does have filters. So, if you're looking for the parent grain, so if you're kind of going for ancient grains, quinoa, it does this filtering there just dynamically. So that's the sort of stuff you can do. Dietary information, these are custom fields that I put into the WooCommerce product using advanced custom fields, which this filter supports. So again, I think, John, this is probably where you're going for kind of more specialized stuff. So within the products, we would mark what type of dietary information it is. So if you are looking for non-gluten grains, and in quinoa, probably not going to find any. Well, I did organic white quinoa and cooking. So they are both non-gluten free. And the filters at the top here, so you can clear them all and just reset back to the normal products for there.
Excellent.
Cool. Anyone else have any questions?
We have a question in the chat, Will. And the question is there any page that Elementor can't edit when using WooCommerce?
No. Elementor can do all the WooCommerce stuff now. So the pages that WooCommerce adds, let me just have a quick look here. Sorry for my ear again. But when you install WooCommerce, it adds a cart page, it adds a checkout page, it adds a my account page, and it adds the shop page. So 4 pages for those. And each of those you can now customize with Elementor, and all the stuff that would normally be short codes that we on those pages. Now those are Elementor elements or widgets that you can now drag and drop onto the page. So you can fully customize pretty much everything WooCommerce page-wise now, which is good. I'm fairly sure it was the cart page that you couldn't customize, and people were so frustrated that you can do all this stuff, but not that one thing. And it didn't make any sense back then because, you know, you'd style everything else and there'd be this one page that still looks like the but ugly WooCommerce default stuff. That was a good question.
That question was from Tom. I don't see any other questions in the chat.
Okay, John, if you've got another one, now's the time.
I do. So basically what I'm trying to do here, as you may know, is just trying to compare WooCommerce with Shopify. Right. And I've been working with Shopify with one of my clients, and I feel that Shopify is just very limited in what I can do in terms of creating the site. And I use a page builder called Pagefly. There may be a better one out there, but I still feel limited in what I can do versus what I can do in Elementor. So what I'm just trying to do is any new clients coming in, move them over to WooCommerce. The one thing that is very useful for Shopify, and I don't know if you know about this for WooCommerce, is I can link it to an Instagram page, and I can have an Instagram shop that runs through my Shopify account, and people can kind of order things kind of like directly through Instagram. Is that something you can do on WooCommerce as well?
Good question. I'm not 100% sure about Instagram, but there is a plugin that allows you to synchronize your WooCommerce products up to Facebook. And right. I'm assuming if you can synchronize it to Facebook, then I'm presuming you can synchronize that with Instagram as well. It's not something I've looked at. I have looked at the Facebook one because I've had quite a few clients that want to synchronize that one, but I haven't actually looked at Instagram.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think it's just sort of like the way it works with Shopify is obviously because Zuckerberg owns everything now, that it all kind of goes through the Meta business suite. So I'm assuming, yes, you probably are right. If it works with Facebook, I think it's highly likely it would work with Instagram as well. But
yeah, it does. So I've just dropped a link in the chat there. So there's a WooCommerce Instagram plugin for $79. Connect your store with Instagram, upload your product catalog to Instagram, create shoppable posts and stories, define product hashtags, and showcase how your customers are using your products in your store. So yeah, it will synchronize WooCommerce up to Instagram.
Excellent. And that's pretty good. $79 a year, really, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean, one thing to note with WooCommerce is there's a whole heap of plugins and they're really, really good, but some of them do add up quite a bit. So if you're coming from Shopify where you're paying like that monthly and you get that box with everything in it, when you start running WooCommerce, it sounds like a great idea because it's flexible, but in order to replicate some of the stuff in Shopify, you're probably going to have to be shelling out 2 or 3 kind of yearly subscriptions for some plugins if you want that kind of exact same environment. So a lot of people think because WooCommerce is free, the core thing, they think, oh, you know, it's a good way to go. But really, if you want to match it par on par for Shopify or for Wix, the e-commerce templates on there, you're probably going to start to spend a little bit of money every year just on maybe 1 or 2 premium plugins for those. Probably the biggest one is going to be your shipping for there, because with Shopify, it's got Shopify shipping all built in. So it couriers to different places. You don't have to worry about that too much. But with WooCommerce, it doesn't come with any kind of shipping stuff. So it's just bog standard. It expects you to wrap stuff in with sticky tape and take it down to your post office. But you can get all the different courier plugins. So you can get DHL, you can get Australia Post as well. But again, they're maybe probably about $40-50 each for those. So again, that's adding up, you know, the yearly cost each time. So just be aware of that to take into consideration if you're thinking about migrating away from Shopify to WooCommerce.
Excellent. Thanks for all of that, Will.
Yeah, no worries. If anyone else doesn't have any other questions, John, you can ask one last one. Otherwise, we'll just kind of wrap it up for tonight.
I did have one which I crossed off the list, but hey, if you needed to ask, it was just in terms of things you were setting up there and how responsive they were. in terms of using it with Elementor. And there was just one thing that you said that jumped out where you got the choice between 1 columns or 2 columns, and you switched it to a single column. Now, I know in Elementor, you kind of get that little icon to say, this is what I'm choosing on desktop, and then you change it to tablet. And I didn't see there in that drop down. If I was to choose 2 columns, would that automatically change to a single one on mobile, or can I change that?
You should be able to change that. It should have the little tabs there for mobile and tablet. You didn't see them there?
Not on that one, that when you were just choosing either a single column or 2 columns. And that's kind of often the way it is with Elementor. Sometimes you can change it, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing like a double column on a mobile definitely isn't going to work.
Yeah, let me just have a quick look at one of those. So 2 columns. Yeah, you're right, actually. Yep, so there's no desktop, mobile, or tablet one for that. So let me just have a quick look. And I'll just view that. I know you guys can't see that. You're just looking at my ear, but that's okay. I've got nice ears. Let me just see. So I'll just put that in responsive mode. It does. It just does it automatically.
It automatically changes it from 2 to 1?
Yeah. So you can't change it per se, but it does do automatic effect. I don't even know why I'm just hiding that from you. That's just rude, isn't it? Okay, so this is one of the ones that you're talking about. So this is the checkout where you've got the 2 columns for those. I know it looks a bit weird, but I haven't got any kind of sizes set up. So I've got this nice little plugin up here in Chrome that allows me to choose different stuff. So here you can see it's put it up into 1 single column. So it does it automatically responsive. So you can't change its settings on each device, but it does allow you to do that.
I think that's good. I think it does it automatically because it's kind of common sense, really, isn't it? That you wouldn't want 2 on a mobile. You want it to automatically switch to 1. So if anything, it's actually saving you a little bit of time. So yeah, that's good.
Cool. Okay. Right. I'm not going to switch back onto the slide. I'm just going to say that next month, we are going to be talking about Google Analytics Search Console and conversion. So a little bit of a side topic away from Elementor, but I'm going to be talking about how you can add Google Analytics and Google Search Console code to your website. And I'm going to be looking at something around about the conversions, so how you can track stuff within your website as well. So if you don't have a Google Analytics or Search Console installed, if you don't know what they are, join in. I'll do a little bit of a brief overview, show you how to add the code for those, and look at a little bit about conversions and how you can measure those as well. So that's it.
Will, sorry, we have just a couple of very last-in questions, so I think we can take them if there's a couple of minutes left. And the first one is in regards to the recordings of today's session, if they can be rewatched, replayed. I would say yes on our social media channels. Yes.
That's correct. So it's being live streamed on our Facebook page just now, or Facebook group just now, which is Elementor Sydney or Sydney Elementor Sydney. So you can have a look and you can rewatch that. And we do have a YouTube account as well. And the links are on the events.elementor.com website. So if you go to the event page, the links for those. So I'll put it up on YouTube, but it's live streamed just now on our Facebook group. So you can rewatch that.
Thank you for that. And then the second question was in regards to the responsive plugin that you were using. They were asking which one it was.
Yeah, so it's called Mobile Simulator, and it's a Chrome add-on. Don't have the website to hand.
It's a Chrome extension.
It's a Chrome extension, yeah.
And it's mobile what? Sorry, what was the name of it? Just gonna look it up. Oh, you got it. Oh, hang on.
Mobile Simulator.
Mobile Simulator.
We've got it shared. It's shared in the
there we go.
In the chat there, yeah.
Yep. Cool. It's great. I mean, I don't pay for I'm a bit stingy. I don't pay for a lot of stuff. But the free stuff that gives you allows you to simulate iPhone and Samsung Galaxy, a few tablets as well. And it's pretty good. It's probably better than the Inspect element that comes with Chrome or Firefox or stuff. So So if you want kind of specialized use case stuff and you don't want to pay the amount for like browser stack, then that little plugin is 90% good enough, I think. Okay,
Thank
guys.
you. I think that tip was great for everyone.
Yep, that's the one key takeaway. That's it. I left the best for last, so you had to watch the full hour just for
After
that
the
one
whole
little.
WooCommerce build.
That's it. Chuck that away. It was really just about that one little Chrome plugin.
Cheers, Will. That was great.
Thank you so much, Charlie. And
I
thank
picked
you,
up
everyone.
one really good thing. I never knew that you could connect WooCommerce to a Facebook shop. Brilliant.
Right. Okay. Before we go, Charlie, right? Imagine a small circular hole and a great big 10-ton square mallet. That's basically what you're doing. It doesn't want to go, and it is a pain to set up. It really, really is. And sometimes it just stops working for no reason at all. So it's worthwhile looking into. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain to set up. You've got to go through Facebook's API or Meta's API. You've got to create a little application to get the IDs. Then you've got to link that application with Instagram's ID. It's a brain explosion. So yes, it can be done, but yes, it takes a while to set up.
All right, cheers.
No worries. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, John, for helping out tonight. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully, you found a few little tidbits for there to help you with your WooCommerce and Elementor journey and your Chrome plugin journey as well. So join us next month. Talking about Google Analytics, Search Console, conversions, all that sort of good stuff. And I will see you guys next month. See ya.
Thanks, Will.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. See you next time.